No matter where you are, at work, in public, or with friends, you can become a confident English speaker.
And don't worry, this is going to be fun and easy to follow. So, grab a cup of coffee, relax, and let's dive into today's episode, Speak Confidently Anywhere.
Let's get started.
All right, Julia, let's start with a question. Why do so many people struggle with speaking English confidently?
That's a great question, Jason. There are many reasons, but the biggest ones are fear of making mistakes, fear of judgment, lack of vocabulary, and nervousness.
Yes, and I think fear of making mistakes is a big one. Many learners hesitate to speak because they worry about saying something wrong.
Absolutely, but here's the truth: making mistakes is a natural part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes.
That's so true. And what about fear of judgment?
Oh, that's another major issue. Many learners think, what if people laugh at my English? Or what if they don't understand me? This fear stops them from speaking at all.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, most people don't judge you. In fact, they appreciate that you're trying to speak their language.
Exactly. And another problem is lack of vocabulary. When you don't know enough words, you might feel stuck in a conversation.
I totally understand that. But the good news is, you don't need a big vocabulary to speak confidently. Even with simple words, you can communicate well.
Yes, and let's not forget nervousness. Many learners feel shy, especially in new situations.
That's very common. I remember a friend who learned English, but was too nervous to speak in front of people. One day, she decided to practice a little every day. After a few months, she became much more confident.
Wow, that's inspiring. Confidence comes with practice, and today we'll show you exactly how to build it.
Yes, and that starts with changing your mindset, because confidence begins from within.
Let's talk about that next.
Now that we understand why people struggle with confidence, let's talk about the solution. Confidence isn't just about speaking well. It starts in your mind.
Yes, many learners believe that they need to be perfect to be confident, but that's not true at all. Confidence comes from accepting mistakes and focusing on progress, not perfection.
That's a great point. Think about children learning to talk. They make mistakes all the time, but do they stop? No, they keep trying. And that's how they learn.
Exactly. So the first mindset shift is see mistakes as learning opportunities, not failures. Every time you make a mistake, you are improving.
Yes, and another powerful mindset shift is positive self-talk. Many people say to themselves, "My English is bad," or "I can't speak well." But what if you change that to, "I'm improving every day," or "I can do this"?
That's so important. Your thoughts affect your confidence. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you'll feel nervous. But if you tell yourself, I am learning and I can communicate, you will feel more confident.
I love that. And here's a quick confidence-building trick for our listeners. Every morning, stand in front of a mirror and say one positive sentence about your English. For example, "I am a good English speaker," or "I am improving every day."
That's a fantastic habit. And one more thing, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday.
Yes, confidence is a journey, not a destination. Now that we've talked about mindset, let's get into some practical tips to speak confidently. Now that we've talked about mindset, let's move on to something even more exciting: practical tips to speak confidently anywhere.
Yes, these are simple but powerful techniques that you can start using today. Jason, what's the first tip?
The first tip is practice speaking every day, even if you're alone. You don't need a partner to practice English. Just talk to yourself about your day. Describe things around you, or even read out loud.
That's a great tip. Speaking out loud trains your brain and your mouth to work together. And if you feel shy, you can start by recording yourself and listening to your own voice.
Yes. And here's the second tip. Use simple sentences. Many learners feel nervous because they try to speak in complex sentences. But confidence comes from being clear, not complicated.
That's so true. Even native speakers use simple sentences in daily conversations. Instead of saying, "I would like to acquire some information regarding," just say, "Can you tell me about?"
Exactly. Keep it natural and easy. Now, the third tip is focus on fluency, not grammar.
Oh, I love this one. Many learners stop speaking to think about grammar rules, but that only makes them more nervous. The key is to keep talking, even if you make small mistakes.
Right. Think about it this way. Speaking is about communication, not perfection. If someone understands you, then your English is working.
That's a great way to see it. And the fourth tip is use body language and expressions. Confidence isn't just about words. It's also about how you say them.
Yes. Smile, make eye contact, and use hand gestures while speaking. It makes you look more confident. And guess what? When you look confident, you feel confident.
That's so true. And our final tip is slow down and breathe. When people are nervous, they speak too fast and make more mistakes.
Yes. Taking a deep breath before speaking helps you sound more confident. Plus, when you speak slowly, people can understand you better.
Absolutely. So let's review these 5 tips. 1. Practice speaking every day. 2. Use simple sentences. 3. Focus on fluency, not grammar. 4. Use body language and expressions. 5. Slow down and breathe.
Great summary, Julia. Now, let's talk about how to stay confident in real-life situations.
Yes, let's get into it.
Now that we know the key tips for speaking confidently, let's talk about something very important: how to stay confident in different situations. Because let's be honest, confidence levels change depending on where we are and who we are talking to.
That's true. You might feel confident talking to a friend, but feel nervous speaking to a stranger or in a professional setting. But don't worry. We're going to share strategies for different situations.
Let's start with talking to strangers in public, for example, ordering food in a restaurant or asking for directions. What should learners do?
Great question. First, keep your sentences short and clear. Instead of thinking about long, complex sentences, just say what you need directly. For example, instead of, "Could you kindly provide me with directions to the train station?" just say, "Where is the train station?"
That's a great tip. Also, don't be afraid to ask people to repeat themselves if you don't understand. Just say, "Could you say that again?" Or, "Can you speak a little slower, please?"
Yes, most people are happy to help, so there's no need to feel embarrassed.
All right. What about speaking confidently in a group conversation?
Good one. Many learners feel nervous in a group because they think they won't be able to keep up. My tip is to listen first, then add your thoughts. You don't have to talk all the time. Just say a short sentence like, "That's interesting," or "I agree with that," to be part of the conversation.
Yes. And if you want to say more, try repeating part of what someone else said before adding your opinion. For example, "I agree with you." Learning English is easier when you practice daily.
That's such a great trick. It helps you sound natural in conversations.
All right. Now let's move to a more formal situation. Job interviews or speaking in meetings.
This is a big one. The key here is preparation. If you're going to a job interview, practice answering common questions in English. Write down key points and practice saying them out loud.
Yes? And another tip is to speak slowly and clearly. Many people rush because they're nervous, but speaking slowly makes you sound more confident.
That's true. And don't forget good posture and eye contact. Even if you feel nervous, standing or sitting up straight makes you look and feel more confident.
Great tips, Julia. So, whether you're talking to strangers, speaking in a group, or having a formal conversation, remember these strategies. 1. Use simple and direct sentences. 2. Ask for repetition if needed. 3. Listen first, then speak in group conversations. 4. Prepare for formal situations in advance. 5. Speak slowly and use body language.
Perfect summary, Jason. Now, let's talk about overcoming nervousness before speaking.
Great idea! Let's get into it. One of the biggest things that stops people from speaking confidently is the fear of judgment. They worry, what if I make a mistake? Or, what if people laugh at me?
Yes, this fear is completely normal, but here's the truth: most people don't care about your mistakes. They are focused on what you're saying, not how perfect your grammar is.
Exactly. Think about it. When someone speaks your native language with a few mistakes, do you judge them? No. You're just happy to understand them. It's the same with English.
That's such a great point. Another way to overcome this fear is to reframe mistakes as progress. Every mistake means you are learning. Mistakes are proof that you are improving.
Yes. And here's another tip. Surround yourself with supportive people. If you practice with friends or in an English-speaking group, you'll feel more comfortable and realize that no one is judging you.
I love that. And one more thing, stop being your own biggest critic. Many learners judge themselves too harshly. Instead of thinking, I sound bad, change it to, I am improving every time I speak.
That's powerful. So, to summarize one, most people don't care about your mistakes. 2 mistakes are part of learning. Practice with supportive people. Be kind to yourself. Focus on progress.
Absolutely. Once you stop worrying about judgment, you'll feel so much more confident. Now, let's move on to daily habits to build long-term speaking confidence.
Great idea. Let's go. Now that we've talked about overcoming fear, let's focus on something very important: daily habits to build speaking confidence. Because confidence doesn't come in one day. It grows when you practice every day.
That's right. And the good news is, you don't need a lot of time. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference.
Exactly. So, let's share some simple but powerful daily exercises. Julia, what's the first one?
The first one is talk to yourself in English. It might sound funny, but it really works. Every morning or evening, describe your day out loud. Today, I woke up early. I had breakfast. I went to work.
I love that. It helps you get comfortable forming sentences without pressure. And here's another one, shadowing.
Oh, shadowing is a great technique. Can you explain it?
Of course. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say immediately. You can do this with podcasts, audiobooks, or YouTube videos.
That's such a great way to improve pronunciation and fluency. Another daily habit is reading out loud. Take any book, article, or even social media post and read it out loud to practice your speaking skills.
Yes, reading out loud trains your mouth to say English words naturally. And one more habit: record yourself speaking.
That's a powerful one. When you record yourself, you can listen back and hear your progress. You might think you sound bad at first, but over time, you'll notice big improvements.
Absolutely. So, let's summarize these daily speaking habits. 1. Talk to yourself in English. 2. Practice shadowing with native speakers. 3. Read out loud every day. 4. Record yourself and listen to your progress.
If you do these for just a few minutes each day, your speaking confidence will grow faster than you think.
That's right. Now, let's talk about how to keep improving your speaking skills over time.
Yes, let's go.
Wow, we've covered so much today. From understanding confidence struggles to practical tips and daily habits, everything you need to speak confidently anywhere.
Yes. And now, I want to remind all our listeners of something important. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about trying, learning, and improving every day.
Exactly. Every great English speaker started as a beginner. The difference between them and those who never improve is practice and persistence.
So, don't wait for the perfect moment to start speaking English. The perfect moment is now. Take one tip from today's episode and apply it immediately.
Choose one daily habit from today's episode and start practicing it. Speak English today, even if it's just for 1 minute. Leave a comment or message us about your biggest confidence challenge. We'd love to help.
Remember, every time you speak, you're getting stronger. So keep going, keep learning, and soon you'll be speaking confidently anywhere.
That's the spirit. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the English Learning Podcast.
Bye for now and happy speaking. And how to use this technique effectively to improve your English skills.
Whether you're struggling with vocabulary, pronunciation, or just want to expose yourself to more English, this method can be a great way to boost your learning effortlessly.
That's right. But before we dive in, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and follow us for more English learning tips.
All right, so let's get started and talk about the science behind learning while sleeping. How does it actually work? Let's find out. So, Julia, let's get into the science behind this. Can we really learn English while we're sleeping?
Great question, Jason. The short answer is yes, but not in the way most people think. You won't wake up fluent in English overnight, but your brain does continue to process information while you sleep.
That's fascinating. So, what exactly happens in our brains when we sleep?
Well, when we sleep, our brain goes through different sleep cycles, including deep sleep and REM sleep. During these stages, the brain organizes and strengthens memories. This process is called memory consolidation. It helps store new information and makes learning more effective.
Oh, so that means if we've been studying English during the day, our brain continues working on it while we sleep?
Exactly. Scientists have found that when people hear words, phrases, or even music during sleep, their brains react to them. This means that if you listen to English conversations, vocabulary, or phrases while sleeping, your brain may reinforce what you've already learned.
That's incredible. Are there any studies that prove this?
Yes! There was an interesting study conducted by Swiss researchers. They had two groups of people study a foreign language. One group listened to the words while sleeping, and the other didn't. Guess what? The group that listened to the words during sleep remembered them better the next day.
Wow, that's amazing. So, this proves that our brains can absorb information passively while we sleep.
Exactly. But there's one important thing to remember. Sleep learning works best as a supplement to active learning. You still need to practice speaking, writing, and listening during the day.
That makes sense. So, if someone wants to use this technique, what's the best way to do it?
Great question. That's what we'll talk about next. How to use this method effectively for English learning.
All right. Now that we understand the science behind learning while sleeping, let's talk about how to actually use this method for English learning. Julia, what's the first step?
The first step is choosing the right type of content. Not all English audio is good for sleep learning. You want something clear, slow, and repetitive so your brain can process it easily.
That makes sense. So, what are some good examples?
Good options include basic English conversations, dialogues between native speakers, common English phrases and vocabulary repeated words help memory, sleep-friendly podcasts or audiobooks with slow, clear pronunciation, positive affirmations in English for confidence building.
I love that. So instead of playing a random English movie, it's better to listen to structured and simple content, right?
Exactly. Movies or fast conversations can be too complicated, and your brain might struggle to process them while sleeping.
Got it. Now, after choosing the right content, what's the next step?
The second step is setting up your environment properly. You need to 1. Keep the volume low. It should be soft and relaxing, not distracting. 2. Use a sleep timer, so the audio doesn't play all night. 3. Choose the right device. A small speaker or comfortable headphones work best.
That's great advice. So, instead of blasting English lessons all night, it's better to play them softly and for a limited time.
Exactly. Your brain can still pick up information even at a low volume.
Okay, so let's say someone does this every night. How can they know if it's working?
Great question. The best way to check your progress is to test yourself the next day. For example, repeat the words you heard and see if you remember them. Write down key phrases from the audio. Try using them in a sentence during the day.
That's a smart approach. So, by reviewing what you heard during sleep, you reinforce what you've learned.
Exactly. The key is combining sleep learning with active practice. If you do both, you'll notice real improvement over time.
Awesome! Now that we know how to use this method, let's talk about what kind of content works best for sleep learning. Stay with us. Now that we know how to set up sleep learning, let's talk about the most important part: what to actually listen to while sleeping. Julia, what are the best types of content for this?
Great question, Jason. Not all audio is effective for sleep learning. You need content that is clear, slow-paced, and repetitive so your brain can absorb it naturally. Here are some of the best options. 1. English conversations. Listening to simple, everyday conversations helps with natural sentence structure and pronunciation. 2. Common phrases and vocabulary. Repeated exposure to basic words and phrases strengthens memory. 3. Slow audiobooks or storytelling. Simple English stories with clear narration are great for listening practice. 4th, guided sleep learning audios. Specially designed audios that repeat words and phrases gently. 5. Positive affirmations in English. Encouraging statements like "I am confident in English" can help with motivation and mindset.
That's a great list. I love the idea of listening to real conversations because it helps learners understand how English is spoken naturally.
Exactly. And when you hear the same phrases repeatedly, your brain starts recognizing them automatically.
That makes sense. But what about background noise? Some people listen to music or white noise when they sleep. Does that help?
Yes, soft background music or white noise can actually make sleep learning more effective because it helps you relax. Some sleep learning audios even combine English words with gentle nature sounds to improve focus.
That sounds perfect. But what about podcasts like this one? Can listening to English podcasts while sleeping help?
Yes, but with one rule: the podcast should be slow and clear. Some podcasts have fast conversations which might be too difficult to process during sleep. It's better to listen to podcasts designed for learners like this one, or ones with simple storytelling.
That's a great tip. So, to sum up, the best things to listen to while sleeping are slow conversations, vocabulary audios, audiobooks, and gentle affirmations, with soft background sounds if needed.
Exactly. Now, if you're wondering how to get the best results from sleep learning, stay with us because next, we'll share the best practices to maximize your learning.
All right. Now that we know what to listen to while sleeping, let's talk about how to get the best results from this technique. Julia, what are some best practices for maximizing learning while sleeping?
Great question, Jason. If you want to make sleep learning truly effective, you need to follow a few key steps. Here are some of the best practices. 1. Listen to familiar content. Your brain learns best when it reinforces information you already know. Don't listen to completely new material. Review words and phrases you've studied before.
That's interesting. So, if I'm learning new vocabulary, I should study it during the day and then listen to it at night?
Exactly. This technique is called re-exposure, and it helps move information from short-term to long-term memory. 2. Keep the audio clear and slow. Avoid fast conversations or complex topics. Choose recordings where speakers talk slowly and clearly. Repetition is key. The more you hear it, the better you remember it.
That makes sense. If the speech is too fast, it might be harder for the brain to process during sleep. 3. Use a sleep timer. Instead of playing audio all night, set a sleep timer for about 1 to 2 hours. This helps prevent disruptions to your deep sleep cycle. Oh, that's a smart tip. Some people think they need to listen all night, but that might not be the best approach. 4. Combine sleep learning with active practice. Sleep learning works best when combined with speaking, writing, and listening practice during the day. Try repeating words and phrases the next morning to strengthen memory.
Exactly. If you listen at night but never practice during the day, you won't improve much. You need both. 5. Stay consistent. Sleep learning isn't magic. It takes time. Try listening to English every night for a few weeks and see how much you improve.
That's great advice. So, to sum it up, the best practices for sleep learning are: 1. Listen to content you've already studied. 2. Choose slow and clear audio. 3. Use a sleep timer. 4. Combine sleep learning with active practice. 5. Stay consistent.
Yes, if you follow these steps, you'll see real improvements in your English over time.
Amazing! Now that we've covered best practices, let's move on to our next topic: common mistakes to avoid when using sleep learning. Stay with us. We've talked about the science, the best methods, and even common mistakes to avoid. But now, let's hear some real-life success stories. Julia, do you know anyone who has successfully used sleep learning to improve their English?
Yes, Jason. One great example is Emma, a university student from Spain. She struggled with English pronunciation, but she started listening to simple English conversations every night. After just 2 months, she noticed she could understand and repeat phrases more easily.
That's amazing. It really shows how consistent listening can help with fluency.
Exactly. Another story is David from Japan. He wanted to improve his vocabulary but had a busy schedule. So he started listening to English word lists with example sentences while sleeping. Over time, he found that words felt more familiar, and he could recall them faster in conversations.
That's inspiring. It proves that sleep learning isn't just a theory. It actually works if you use it the right way.
Yes, and many people have seen results, but the key is combining sleep learning with active practice during the day.
Absolutely. So, if you're listening to this podcast and wondering if sleep learning works, these real-life success stories show that it does.
Exactly. And coming up next, we'll answer an important question. Can you become fluent just by listening while sleeping? Stay with us.
Wow, we've covered a lot today, from the science of sleep learning to the best practices and even real-life success stories. Let's quickly summarize the key takeaways.
Great idea. Here's what we learned today. Sleep learning works, but it's most effective when combined with active practice. Choose the right content, slow, clear, and repetitive English audio. Use a sleep timer so the audio doesn't disrupt your deep sleep. Review what you learned the next morning to reinforce memory. Stay consistent. Practice this method for several weeks to see real results.
Yes, and remember, sleep learning won't make you fluent overnight, but it's a powerful tool to support your English learning journey.
Exactly. So if you want to improve your English while sleeping, start tonight, pick a simple English conversation, set a sleep timer, and make it a habit.
That's a great challenge. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share it with other English learners.
Yes, keep practicing, keep listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy learning.
Before we wrap up today's episode, we want to remind you to take action. Start using the sleep learning method tonight and see how much it can improve your English.
And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed today's content, leave us a review. We'd love to hear how sleep learning is working for you.
Also, check out the show notes for links to recommended resources, including sleep-friendly English audiobooks and podcasts.
Thank you for joining us today. Remember, consistency is key, and with a little effort every night, you'll notice big improvements in your English.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.